week. Those who are attending every week, they will be gaining out of this. Then I thought, what could be the theme? Then I came with the topic, temporary imbalances. What is imbalance? Can any of you say what is imbalance?
Unequality.
Okay. Inequality in other terms. That is where we think like imbalance in terms of economy, in terms of equilibrium, in terms of structure. If there are civil engineers, they'll be talking about structural imbalances. What I am going to talk about the imbalance today is the imbalance we undergo when we join an upskilling program. Whenever we want to join somewhere, we must understand and accept that we will undergo some imbalances for some time. Then after getting the results, after getting the benefits, we will get the balance. Till that, we have to either accept the pain or we should constantly remember the long-term goal, why we are entering into that. So let me share my experience at the later stage of the meeting. Now, for the benefits of the guests, I would like to explain the structure of the meeting. We have 3 segments in the meeting. The first will be prepared speech, where the prepared speakers will be giving speeches on the prepared objective-based speech based on the project. Then the second will be table topic session, where not only Toastmasters, the guests will get an opportunity to give an impromptu speech. Then the third section will be evaluation session, where the prepared speeches will be evaluated by evaluators. So this is how the meeting takes place. Finally, we have one more special session, which is moments of truth, that we will come to know later. So now we will be entering into the first phase of the meeting. So conduct the first stage. I would like to call Toastmaster Bilal Sharif. Bilal Sharif will be taking the role of general evaluator. So he is a BTech computer science and engineering professional. He done his MBA in IT systems and management and human resources. And he also completed LLB. He is working as vice president in Wells Fargo. His hobbies are boxing, dance, and fitness. I welcome Bilal Sharif to take over the next stage.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'll be the general evaluator for today's meeting. At the end of the session, I'll be evaluating this meeting with various parameters and I'll be sharing my observation with you all. For the benefit of guests, in Toastmasters, we truly believe that your best one is always the next one. That's why every speech, every role player in every Toastmasters meeting is evaluated so that you learn about your aspects, new performance today that can be worked upon to perfect the next one. To help me with this role, I have a tag team. When I say tag team, T stands for timer, A for counter, and G for grammarian. I would like to call the timer to explain her role and responsibilities in this meeting.
Good evening, everyone. So my role for today is a timer. So I would like to tell you about what are the objectives of being a timer. So fellow Toastmasters, friends and guests, as timer, my role is to remind all the speakers how much time they spent on their speech. So that we will run this meeting on time. For example, the time allotted for the prepared speaker is 5 to 7 minutes. Then I will show green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6th minute, red at 7th minute. The time allotted for the evaluation is 2 to 3 minutes. Then I will show green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, red at 3 minutes. The time allotted for the table topics is 1 to 2 minutes. Then I will show green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute and 30 seconds, red at 2 minutes. So at the end of the meeting, I will be back to present my report while called upon by general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you for explaining your roles. As part of tag team, we have seen the timer, and then we have our counter and grammarian. And today, Toastmaster Abhilash is going to take a dual role. He will be taking care of our counter as well as grammarian. I would like to call him to explain his roles in this one.
So you see, today, and all right. So as our counter today, I'm going to be a very strict officer, I might add. So the words that I used, and so, but these are words which we inadvertently use in our speeches. So I'm going to keep a record of all these, and I'm going to tell them towards the end of the meeting so that we may improve ourselves. I'm also going to be your grammarian, or as they like to call it, the English teacher for today. As a grammarian, my duties are twofold. The first is I'm going to introduce to you all what is called as the word of the day. The word of the day for today is epitome. Epitome means a perfect example of any quality or type. An example of usage of the word epitome might be Dr. Abdul Kalam was an epitome of simplicity. So you're all encouraged to use the word epitome in your speeches here. Now, my second duty as grammarian today, I'm going to keep a track of the good usages of the English language as well as the bad usages. And I'll be back towards the end to present my report. Over to you, Mr. General Manager.
For sharing your roles and responsibilities as our counter as well as grammarian. And I will be giving my observation at the end of the meeting. And with this, I hand over the stage to TMOD of the day, Palaniswamy.
Thank you. We are going to have our first speaker, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana. Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana is electrical engineer by qualification and software engineer by profession. He was a past president of this club. He was past VP and one of the very active Toastmaster. So he'll be to explain his project objective. I request his evaluator Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati to read out the project objective.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Palaniswamy. Today, our Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana is taking up his L5 P2 project under presentation mastery, practice to speak professionally. The purpose of this project is for the member to develop and practice longer speech. The duration of the speech is 14 to 22 minutes. All the best, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana. Over to you, TMOD Toastmaster Palaniswamy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati. Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana, tips and drive. Tips and drive, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana.
Thank you. Before we start, please set the scene.
Yes, I am able to see you. It's okay. I am able to listen to you. Are you able to listen to me?
Yes. Yes. Evaluator, I just want to confirm one more time. Are you able to hear me or are you able to see me?
Yes, I am able to hear you as well as I am able to see the screen as well.
Thank you so much. The timer, you can start the timer. Oh, once a man was very hungry. He went to a small hotel where the owner, who's also the manager, sits at the entrance. He went inside. He had ordered a lot of food. He had enough food. Then once the waiter came and he gave the bill, he was shocked. Because the bill amount was 200 rupees. But he had only 2 rupees in his pocket. So 20 rupees in his pocket. He called the waiter and told him, I'm very sorry. I didn't have food for past 2 days, so I had to eat a lot of items. I forgot that I have only 20 rupees. I know this amount is 20 rupees. Please, can you help me get out of this hotel without pay? I'll repay the money after a week. The waiter felt sorry for this guy. He pitied for him. So he helped him to get away from the hotel when the manager is not noticed. As this person was going away, he suddenly came back and thanked this waiter and gave him 20 rupees. And then he ran away. After some time, the manager of the hotel noticed something fishy. He called the waiter and said, something bad one day was eating in the table. I know we gave him, he has to pay 200 rupees. He didn't settle his bill. But I also noticed him paying you some money to you. Did he pay the bill? He said, no, he paid me tips. I'm going to end the story here. And I'm going to ask you a question. So, it's from the audience. I'm not in that answer for it. Just raise your hand. Do you think that the customer has given tips to the waiter? How many of you think the customer has given tips to the waiter? So, how many of you think the customer has bribed the waiter? There are many here, right? Okay, I'll leave it to your judgment. I'm not going to comment on this. It's individual's perception. So, good evening, Toastmasters. Yes, and my dear friends. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the worst evil in our society, corruption. And very specifically, bribery, which is a subset of corruption. Let's quickly look at what the definition of corruption is. I am not going to what we see in the internet. I'm just going to give a simple term. Corruption is a dishonest or immoral behavior of or activities, right? It's an offense. It's a criminal offense which refers to misusing public power. Person who has authority, who misuse the power to get something done. That's corruption. So what is bribe? Bribe is a subset of corruption, right? But that constitutes a major chunk of this corruption in this whole world itself. So it's offering, giving, or receiving money in favor or influence action of an official. Okay, it happens both in public place, government place, or even in a private place as well. There's a major contribution for the common man. The reason I picked up this topic is because it impacts a common man like me. So I'm talking from my perspective. So please do not be judgmental on this. It's my perspective mostly. But still, I think some of you will accept for this. So now I'm going to a very important question. Again, you need to raise your hand if you accept it. Has anyone here has ever taken or accepted bribe? I know the answer is going to be no. The next important question. Has anyone here has ever given bribe? Almost everyone, right? Yeah. I have to raise 2 hands here. I have paid multiple times due to unavoidable situations. But I'm not supporting that, but that was due to unavoidable situations. So this next important question is there anyone here who supports bribe, either giving or taking or receiving bribe? Okay. I'm glad that there's one guy, but I'm just ignoring the negligible person here. I assume that nobody here supports bribe, right? So nobody wants to support bribe. So the point is, even as I said, even I'm not interested in bribe. I don't like to give bribe, but I ended up giving bribe in various situations. So I was thinking how to avoid this. How do I stop this? So first of all, I need to categorize bribe. So in a common man term, from my term, I actually categorize bribe into two categories, that is based on needs and wants of a person. So the first thing is based on need, it's a mandatory bribe. So I couldn't avoid it. Usually it happens to the place where there is a monopoly, we can't avoid it. The best example I can tell you from my personal story is when I started constructing my house in the year 2004, I had to get an EB connection. So I asked my engineer who was helping me construct. So how much first? He said 10,000 rupees. I said, why so expensive? He said, part of it is for the fees, the remaining goes as a bribe. I said, why should I pay bribe? Then he said, do you have any backup plan for electricity? I said, no. Then you have to pay. So I burst for it and I had to pay. That is mandatory bribe. That is where we can't fight the system. And I need to have more energy, more time, all those things to fight the system. But there is second one based on the wants, right? So we all, I remember the quote from Mahatma Gandhi. This country has enough resources for the needs of each individual, but not for the greed of each individual. So there are times where it's optional bribe. Like usually we try to find a shortcuts, right? We try to, suppose you want to skip a queue, we pay bribe. You want to get a ticket on a priority basis, we give you bribes. And mostly sometimes it's laziness, I see. Because one example I could say is that when I went to apply for my insurance, okay, renewal of my driving license. So when I went that, I was very lazy. I approached driving school. They said, give me 800 rupees, I'll renew it. I asked, what is this 800 rupees? It includes the fee there and my fee and also some bribe. So I was thinking for a while, why should I be so lazy not doing it? So I decided, I took a day off the other day. I went to the RTO. Yeah, it was very tedious job. I know how it works. Then I intentionally went there. So I only paid only 120 rupees. But it took my day off day and it was very tedious. But still, I was happy that I didn't pay extra. Okay. So that is where sometimes we pay because of our laziness. We want to speed up the process. And the most common rules, and in order to avoid paying penalty, we end up paying bribes. It's very, very common. That is where we end up most of the time paying bribes as well. Actually, I want to tell one example. It happened a decade ago. One of my friends was very upset in the office, asking what happened. He said the previous day, he was caught by traffic police and he had to pay 200 rupees of bribe. And he was very upset because this guy was so corrupt, this police was so corrupt. Because that particular day, there were around 200 people who were doing these mistakes. And he was calculating that he was earning at least 40,000 per day as a bribe money. He was thinking how immoral was that police was. Then my question was that, why did you have to pay bribe? He said, I didn't wear a helmet and my insurance got expired. So why didn't you pay the fine? He said, it was 1,500 rupees. I can only pay 200 rupees. I told that you are cursing a policeman. Yeah, I'm not supporting a policeman. But there are 200 people who are violating rules and paying bribe. You're not considering that mistake. This is where we do mistakes actually. So violation of rules is one of the biggest reason for paying bribes. So we all know we don't want corruption, right? But before going to the topic on how to stop corruption and who to stop corruption, let me quickly have a glance on what is the impact of corruption. Why do we need to stop corruption? Actually, this itself is a big topic. It should be a separate keynote speech, but I'm trying to condense in one slide here. For an individual, it is more of a mental level, right? We don't like paying money. And either be the giver or the taker also, because you're into trouble. You may get into disciplinary action when you get money, or even termination of employment if it happens in the corporate world, okay? And the criminal charges. So the corruption is not only at the personal level, it also happens at the organization level, even the corporate level also. If it happens in the corporate level, or even the government organizations, it has a lot of impact. It impacts the employees' morale on the goodwill of the organization. There's certain organization will spend years to get the reputation, right? They spoil the reputation for the period. The classic example is Satyam. I don't know how many of you remember that. Okay. that one particular corruption has impacted a lot. Because I know personally, because instance, our organization we are having 300 contractors. We don't know how to handle those people. It took 6 months to make it correct, move them to other, take this contractor from somewhere. So there's huge impact in the organization also. And when it just goes one level up, look at the countries. What happens when there is corruption in a country? Okay, there is the first common part, the common issue we find is the poverty, the income inequality. There's a disparity between the rich and the poor, always. Okay, and because of the misuse of the tax money, there will be poor infrastructure, and these people corrupt the money and move somewhere else. And the inflation and the security. The reason I mentioned security is that we all know what is happening to our neighboring countries, Sri Lanka and Pakistan. It's all purely, I believe it's because of the corruption, all the economic crisis happening there. I know there are some sadistic people will be very happy because our enemies are suffering, but there is a big threat for us. When person is a neighbor is not good, it impacts them. When they don't have the right environment to live properly, then they get into all the criminal activities. Okay? We can boost up more terrorism, we can boost up more infiltration because they want to come to better economy. So this is because crisis is popular. So I'll leave it with that. Let me move on to next important part. So we know why we don't want corruption. Okay. So who is the worst person to stop corruption? Where do we start it? Exactly. I can say it's me, and also it's the me in you. Each one of you can start an action to stop corruption. It can't be happening. We can't do it overnight. It takes its own sweet time. It may take even a generation also, but it has to start from us. So I want to bring in an incident because as our grammarian mentioned that APJ Abdul Kalam is the epitome of honesty, epitome of ethical behavior. I remember once he invited certain NRIs to his Rashtrapati Bhavan when he was the then president. So it was around 10 to 20 NRIs, successful NRIs. They were felicitating those NRIs there, and he had dinner with them. There was a discussion happening with these NRIs, and they were talking all good about India. And slowly they were explaining their problem in doing business with India. They said, India is so corrupt, we struggle a lot to do business with India. It takes a long time to get approvals. We need to pay large bribes and also. And then asked Dr. Abdul Kalam, do you know about this corruption? He said, yes. Then they were surprised. Then why don't you stop this corruption? You are the supreme power. You are the control of the armed forces. You have anything to do. You are the full authority. Why don't you stop corruption? If you can't stop corruption, who else can stop corruption? And for which Kalam answered it in a very simple way. There are only 3 people in this nation who can stop corruption. It's father, mother, and the primary school teacher. You all understand the reason why he mentioned about it, right? Because it has to start from education for kids. Only they can do it. When there may be many married people, there may be many parents here also. It's all we have to start. We have to start educating our kids, teach values to the kids. Education doesn't mean you put on a whiteboard and explain them. It's how we behave in front of them, how all we teach the values to them. So I said about who can do this. We all know we have to do it and how we do it. So my first thing about this, how to stop corruption is about the awareness. Okay, we need to be aware of the environment. Sometimes we don't know where we are paying the bribe as well. Okay, that's why I brought in the example of the tips and the bribes. We don't know which is tips part, which is the bribe part. We don't know which is the fees, which is the service fee, which is the service charge, and where it ends up in bribe. I'm not against paying tips in this nation because that is how it runs here. But there are certain countries who don't legalize paying tips also because they believe tips is one which may make you to get into corruption. Tips may convert to bribe also in the future. For your information, I had a slide, but I'm not showing that. The major difference, the definition of a tips and bribe is that tips is the one which we give money after the render a service. And bribe is the one where we give money to get things done. Okay. And bribe is a criminal offense. And tips is like you get satisfied with somebody's service and you appreciate the service. So that is the thin line between the tips and bribe. We don't know how it changes as well. So we need to be aware of what is, that is why I've brought in the notion of awareness about the environment. So I'm again coming back to this episode of honesty at Kalam. Remember I mentioned about the story, someone asked, how do you stop corruption? The similar incident happened when he was interacting with kids, again, the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It was last week of his term in the, as a president in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So he was encouraging kids to ask questions. So one kid raised and asked a question, very simple question, same one. How do we stop corruption? So Kalam encouraged the kid, wow, what a wonderful question. Then he asked the question back to the kid. Can you tell me how many people are corrupted in this nation, or at least how much percentage are corrupted in the nation? So the kid doesn't have an answer for it. So he said, let's assume 25% of people are corrupt, which means that 1 out of 4 people is corrupt. Let's begin from your family first. Let's assume that you have a sibling, your brother or sister. You and your brother, sister, and your father and mother constitutes 4 people. Obviously, you and your sister is not corrupt. If your mom, assuming that your mom is homemaker, she's not doing any business, she's not corrupt. It is possible that your dad is corrupt. I'm not saying your dad is corrupt. It is possible that your dad is corrupt. So what do you have to do? Question your dad. Where does he get the money? How does he pay fees to you? Did he pay the tax on time? Is he taking any immoral ways to get the money? You have to ask questions. I think this is one of the best lessons he has taught to every one of us. Because at the same time, there were teachers around this conference. You ask a question to the teachers as well. What if you do if your kids are going to ask you questions? There was an answer from them, but he said, you need to answer to your kids. Because that's the way you have to teach values to the kids, moral values to the kids. So this is one such thing which Kalam has taught most of us how to be ethical, how to be sincere, how to avoid corruption. Because as I mentioned, we can be more greedy also. If someone is raising questions, because at the end of the day, if a parent is not answering to them, if you ask the parent, they can come out with the justification that I'm doing it all for my kids. Usually that is what happens. But if these kids come back and ask you a question, then they may think that, oh, it's not that I need to do anything for my kid in any way because the kid is asking me a question. I need to answer them as well. It's not just feeding them money, giving them whatever they ask for. We need to answer them back. That's very important. So this is one important aspect. What I thought is we should start from each one of us. There should be honesty. Okay. So I don't want to get too deep into what is honesty and all. I don't want to get to that extent. At least we need to do a self-retrospection ourselves. As you mentioned, that we are the one who can stop corruption. At least it don't happen overnight, I'm saying. It can happen in generations. From the next generation, a generation after that. So we need to put the seed now to stop the corruption because it took several years to get this corruption. So I don't think it happened overnight. So we need to put the seed right there. So when we be honest to ourselves, when you have the introspection, whenever we do activity, think ourselves, question ourselves, am I doing the right thing? What if my kid asks me a question? Can I give them an honest answer to them? So we need to set an example to the kids, to the family, everyone, how we do. This is how it actually, if you start from one family, it goes on with all the families. That's why I always believe Kalam was interacting more with the kids than with the elders. That's one of his mission of Vision 2020 as well. I don't know how much he achieved of it. But I want to end up this speech over here saying that it is our responsibility to leave a bright future for the next generations. So also leave a bright kid and a socially responsible kid to this nation as well. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmasters.
That's a wonderful speech about an important and sensitive topic. So much of insights. Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana. The second speaker is our President, Toastmaster Naveen. Toastmaster Naveen is electrical engineer by qualification. He is working as quality engineer in Ravel High Techs. I request his evaluator Toastmaster Nanda to read out the project.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Naveen is doing level 3 project of presentation master class. The objective of the project is to inspire the audience. Inspire the audience in a way that he writes the scripts and also deliver the project. All the best, Toastmaster Naveen Raj. Timer, please note that the time is 5 to 7 minutes. What do you?
Thank you, Toastmaster Nanda. Toastmaster Naveen Raj. How I grown up? How I grown up, Toastmaster Naveen Raj.
Struggles are occurred in life because in order to stand up, you gotta know what falling down is like. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Let me share an anecdote. I started my school life in 2006, and if you are entering into the school life, then we will all get some new friends and we will make some guests, some friends with their start up with their new gang. So we started a new gang and the days rolled on. Some of the exams came. We studied hard, but you need to know how I studied. Just I take a book and I will sit in my room in the house and I will read Chennai Toastmasters Club. Because while I opening my book, I will get sleep. Within 2 minutes, my eyes will turn to red. So my mom always scolded me without hesitating. So I started again to read the books after washing my face. But again the sleep will come. I will sleep within 2 minutes while I opening the top cover of the book itself. So I slept again. So after that I changed the book. So I kept the book and I took the max book. So now we have to work out the problems. But again the sleep will come, so I will sleep. So again the story ends up with the sleeping. I close the book and I slept and I go to the school. So the exams came. I need to write the answers in the exam. So we are all get together and work together to study hard. But my friends will change my mind. So we are all simply sitting and we will speak only with the friends. So the exam came and I got second class, but it's not the engineering class, engineering graduate mark. So I got second class in 6th standard means it's your average pass. Okay, it's just pass. So I got only 40% of in the marks and I promoted to 7th and 8th, regularly 8th standard. So the test came. So now we are all sit together to read very hard. But the first period, the science teacher came and announced it's a test. So the period goes, and the second period, maths teacher came. He also announced it was a test. I will write down the questions. You need to write the answer. So it goes until the second period. We came break. So we all enjoyed in that 10 minutes break. But again, the English teacher came and he also gave some examples to work out and he also waiting for the results. So again the test goes, it goes to the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th until 7th period. So we are all little worried about that test but we have some faith because the 8th period is PT. So we are all going to play in the ground. But again the PT teacher came and he is also ready to give test to select school. So again the test comes. So I think test is a torture for educated students. So I took this torture to home. So I worked out the problems and I studied hard and I got passed. So the next day a surprise is waiting for me in the class. So I went to the class and I opened the door, I cleaned the board and I sat. So my friends are all came, we are all sat together and speaking. The class teacher came inside and he is ready to conduct a test for select the class representative. So I stand up and I nominated myself for the class lead. So the teacher got all the votes and he is ready to share the results. But you need to know I am the sole candidate. I got 37 votes for taking the class leader as the representative. So I got votes without any hesitated. I started the class leader journey. Because why? The class leader is always goes out of the class and you need to get the duster from the teacher's room. You need to get the chalk piece from the teacher's room. So he is always ready to bunk the class, but he is not ready to sit in the class. So I started my class leader journey from the 8th standard onwards. So I started slowly learning how the class leader needs to act and his responsibilities. Somehow I will wrote down the names in the board without hesitantly. They are not speaking, but they are not giving any food to me. Then I will write down the names in the board. So slowly it goes up and I started my engineering in the same college. So I will announce myself in that engineering classroom like I got 8 years of experience in the same institutions comparingly before the teachers. But I studied in the same institution around 6 to 12 and I started the same college. So I obviously telling I got 8-year experience, but you got only 1 year experience. You just started as a teacher. So we started simply going and attend the class. But the second year came, my HOD came inside to the class and he is ready to start taking the same test. But without getting any nomination, he announced me as a secretary for the association for the club, for the students association. So I started my leadership journey in there also. While understanding the leadership journey, we need to know how we are going to showcase ourselves as a leader to the other students. So I started my leadership journey till that, and I started the career into the 3rd year. While I became the 3rd year student, the HOD came to the class and announced me as a vice president education because I worked as the secretary for the association for the 1 year. I took several decisions to change the students association into a very well manner and the good association. While I performing as a secretary, we got the best association inside the college campus. So I started the leadership journey till that, and around 2019, I came into the Toastmasters journey, and my journey as a leadership is still continues, and it will continue till my end of the life. So the pessimist will wait for the wind to change the direction, but the optimist is waiting for the direction in the compass to change how the winds change. But the sailors are ready to change the direction according to the wind. So, are you ready to change your direction? Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Naveen Raj. So I'm able to relate because I was not extraordinary at school. So I'm able to relate the Toastmaster Naveen Raj's speech. Coming back to the theme of the day, temporary balances. So we understood the reason we undergo imbalance because we are having a full-time job or a business. Some are like in a full-time students. So I experienced this into my 6th year of career. I did my diploma in leather technology. Then I was working in a leather factory for 5 years. Then I decided to do BTech. Why? That is reserved for a Gautam Menon movie story. So that is reserved for another day. So I decided to join BTech. But I cannot work in a leather factory because I have to attend class from 6:15 to 9:15 in Anna University every day for 5 days a week. So I left my job. In 2000, I was decently paid. I was in a job decently paid. 2001 Jan, I joined BTech. I was out of job. I was looking for a job which which is ready to allow me to attend classes in the evening. Then in the March, I joined in a job. I'll be there in Cropate because the leather factories are in Cropate. So I'll be at Cropate till 5:30. I'll be working. Then I leave to Chennai city. I reach there, attend classes, come back to Cropate, had dinner. The first year we had engineering mathematics. I did my 10th, then I joined BTech, did my diploma. So I was very so every week, Sundays, I used to attend maths tuition at Saidapet. And I have to go all the way from there to Saidapet to Institute of Engineering Mathematics. So it was hectic. First year was hectic. I was not even having one day off. But that was a temporary imbalance that will not continue forever. If I am not going through that pain, if I am not managing emotionally, then I cannot complete my BTech. So I endured the pain. I completed my BTech. When compared to that, Toastmaster journey is relatively easy because you are not spending 5 days a week. So it is relatively easy journey. So I will comment about my Toastmaster journey at the later stage of the meeting. Let us move into the next session, which is table topic. To conduct the table topic session, we have table topic master, Toastmaster Karthik. Toastmaster Karthik is an engineering graduate, mechanical engineering, and he also did his MBA. He is working in Nissan Cars as assistant manager. His interests are fitness and athletics. I request Toastmaster Karthik to take over the next session.
My dear Toastmaster and distinguished guest, good evening to all. So I'm your table topic master. Table topic session is one of the exciting session in Toastmaster. Within one word, we can call it as think on their feet. What is this? Think on their feet. I'm going to call the person and I'm going to give the question to you. You have to deliver a speech. So what you need to do? First, you need to listen. Second, think. Third, you need to organize. Fourth, you need to deliver a speech. The speech time I'm going to give you is 1 minute. You can take up to 2 minutes. When you reach 1 minute, the green light will display over there. When you reach 1 minute 30 seconds, the yellow light will be displayed over there. When you reach 2 minutes, the red light will be displayed over there. So this is the session for table topic master. Even guest and Toastmasters, everyone can participate in today's session. So first I will call it us from the Toastmasters. I would like to call our Toastmaster Karthik on stage. I have some set of questions. Okay. So I have two things. One is you need to do some actions. Another one is you need to deliver a speech for 1 minute. Timer, when I just given the topic to him, you can just start it. Right? Yeah, I'll just. So your topic is briefcase and nuclear power plant. Okay. Okay. How you will hold the briefcase like this? Yeah. You have to deliver a speech about the nuclear power plant by holding the briefcase for 1 minute. So this is the session for today. Okay. So your topic is going to hold the briefcase, and your topic is nuclear power plant. Anything about nuclear power plant? We have and you know about Chernobyl. You can talk anything about nuclear power plant. So that is the session. Shall we start? Sure. Timer.
Good evening, everyone. I am happy.
You need to go.
I am Karthik Krishna. So the topic I've given is about nuclear power plant. So you're okay, and I've been tasked with carrying SOPs. So I have to hold that. Okay. Nuclear power plants. You know, nuclear power is the ultimate power. So that's the reason a lot of countries are waging wars and for everything. And I recently saw a movie about this nuclear power. I forgot the movie name. I saw it in Netflix, which, see, in 1970s, we first tested the nuclear power for India. So then again, we got succeeded with the 1990s when doing the regime of our Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So nuclear power plant, as such, with anything, it has its pros and cons. When if it is used for proper purpose, it is giving so much of, it is doing a great thing for the country as well as for the people. But if it is been used for negative purposes, it will destroy the whole country and everything. So I don't know, that's the topic. I can think about anything else other than that. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. If I got the opportunity, I will just keep the big guest here and I will just deliver the speech. So next, any volunteers from guest? Any volunteers? Today there are more guests. I'm not going to call you, you are just going to raise your hands. I will give you the very easy topic. Not like this. You may feel this is a difficult topic. I will just give you a very easy topic. Any guest?
Give topic and ask.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, sir. Your good name?
My name is Praveen.
Praveen. Okay. If you could fly in a hot air balloon over any city in the world, okay? If you could fly in a hot air balloon over any city in the world, what would you choose? Which city you would choose and why? Okay, your time starts.
First of all, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for giving a good topic. So, which city I would choose if I were given an opportunity to travel in an air balloon? Yeah. Almost like 4 years back, I went on a solo trip to Leh Ladakh. So I was from Leh Ladakh, from Leh, I went to Kashmir. So I spent a day there. So since I didn't have much time, so I had to take a flight from Kashmir to Delhi. So when you take off from the Kashmir airport, the kind of view you get regarding the snow-capped mountain, that is simply breathtaking. So never ever in my life I've seen such a kind of greenery, modern greenery, the kind of beauty of nature, especially when you take off from the Kashmir airport, and probably you will have that view for close to like 10 to 15 minutes. Whereas there is a beautiful snow-capped mountain, as well as as Kashmir is actually briefly, Kashmir people, the negative part of Kashmir is about the Kashmir Valley, but Kashmir actually has 3 distinct regions. The Jammu is quite distinct, the Kashmir Valley is quite distinct, and the Leh Ladakh Valley is quite distinct. And the beauty of Leh Ladakh is quite different, but compared to, I went in July, August, so when there is no snowfall. So the route from Leh Ladakh to Kashmir is actually open only for a few months in the year. So if, as you said, so I cannot simply express in words the kind of beauty I witnessed. When you take off and then you're there for a flight for like 5 to 10 minutes. So probably it's unparalleled, I've never seen. So that particular scenery has been etched in my mind for a very long time, which I'll not forget. Thank you. Thank you.
Any volunteer from guest? When someone is delivering the speech, you are all saying here, but when you are calling the volunteer, you are saying here, So I need to pick some volunteer topic. I'll just give some very easy topic like this. If you go back in time and talk yourself at the age of 10, what advice you give yourself and why? Any volunteers? I have given some.
First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody here and a very good evening to all the Toastmasters who are present in person. and a very warm welcome and a very good evening to all Toastmasters who are present online. My name is Abhirami Ramalingam, and I would like to start off by kindly requesting all the Toastmasters present here in person and online to not be distracted by the yellow jacket and the yellow sunglasses I'm wearing, which is the very epitome of blinding and stunning style, but rather try and focus on me, because I aspire to be the epitome of simplicity, the epitome of humility, the epitome of transparency, and the epitome of authenticity. Given that, I would like to go ahead with my table topic, which is, if I was my younger self, being my 10-year-old self, what would I what advice would I give myself? There are so many things that I would like to tell my little girl, the little girl who is still living and thriving inside of me. And she's really grown up a little bit in size, but still, I would like to go back and tell her that size does not matter. What matters is how you think, how you talk, how you feel, and how you behave, which is where confidence comes from, but not from how you look and what you wear and what you do, but rather being the person who you are. That's something that I would like to tell the little girl and all the little girls everywhere in the world. And the second thing that I would like to say is, I will always advise young girls to not tie their identity to something that they are doing. Their identity is not being a doctor or a lawyer or being a business person. Your identity is not coming from a very wealthy family or being an actor or a politician. Your identity is who you are as a person, who your soul is. If you are kind, if you are loving, if you are caring, if you are transparent, if you are a very consistent person, that is who you are. And that is your identity. These are two very important things, core beliefs that I have developed right now, but I would like to try and tell all the young girls in the world, and I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self, because it would have saved me so many tears and so many humiliating situations with my friends in school and in college. But at 10 years old, yes, that is my time, people, and thank you for being a lovely audience.
Thank you, Rami.
Thank you.
Any guest or any volunteers? I'm going to give very easy question. Any guest? There are more guests. Any guest from online? Guest Fazal or guest Saranya? Anyone from online?
Yes, Milton here.
Hello, Milton. Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Okay, Milton.
Am I clear, Toastmaster?
I will share the question to you. Yes. If you travel back in time to meet anyone in past, whom you want to meet and why? Do you got my question, Milton?
Yes.
Okay.
If I travel
in time to meet anyone in past, whom you want to meet and why?
Yes. Traveling in the past reveals some exciting experience, and suppose if the opportunity is given to me to meet one important person, that is a great saint Tirumular. Tirumular was one of the greatest saints, like Tiruvalluvar, who has written Tirumandaram, more than 3,000 poems, and that they all reveal several aspects of yoga and secrets of this great nation. He has received all the things from the Agatya, the other great universe, we can call sages, saints, and such a great wisdom is still available with us in books form, in Google also, in YouTube, in so many ways. And Sirgadi Govindarajan has given a beautiful songs, complete songs, and he sang. So many conferences are going on under Sai Sundar banner and something. I am not talking about religion. I am not concerned with religious aspects also. But yet, this very important book, like Tirukkural is popularized because of the thing great politicians, great chief ministers like Kalanger, and they have all taken the Tirukkural in their hands, and they made important parts of the great thing, the literature of the. But this Tirumular aspect has been forgotten. I like to meet Tirumular if it is possible, and so we can get more wisdom from him, and also empower the youth, and also for future. What all he has told, is being told, it is revealed in various seminars in various people, including in the Alpha Power seminars. What so many people are doing it, and they are minting money without telling that it is from Tirumular. So it's such a great person. We should realize, and we shall cherish, and we shall also nourish and learn from him still the secrets of the world, and also our health, and also not only that, even about our birth, sex, everything is talked about. And so nice to opportunity, Toastmaster. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Milton. Thanks for everything. So I hope everyone enjoyed the session. With this, I'm signing off here, and I'm handing over the session to the Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster College.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karthik, for conducting the table topic session. Next part, I would like to share my Toastmaster journey. More than 10 years ago, I attended Toastmaster same club. I attended one meeting as a guest, but then I was not fully prepared, because one thing I was completely uncomfortable was standing in front of people and even sharing an introduction about me. Wherever I went for a corporate training program, one area which I hate was the introduction about employees. The trainer will tell, can you introduce about yourself? Even that 1 minute I was so uncomfortable. Then it went for many years, and I decided this should not be my limitation forever. Then I stepped into Toastmasters. Why we start a journey and stop in between? It's predominantly, the reason is emotional imbalance. We are not able to manage our emotions, maybe out of fear, what others will think about me, what others will say about me, that I came out. Then what else, why we stop? We start from -1 situation, and some of us stop. When we become 0, we stop. We are not really trying to proceed from 0 to +1. Because this I noticed from a recent communication with one of the Toastmasters. I asked why you are not coming to the meeting. He said the distance is one of the factors. Then the second is somehow coming out of the nervousness. He said he agreed that he did not have the comfort still, but he is okay with the uncomfortable communication, though he is avoiding the shivering and all, he stopped. So with this, I hand over the next stage of the session to General Evaluator to conduct the evaluation session. Toastmaster Bilal, stage is yours.
As TMOD of the day, Palanisamy said, Toastmasters meeting in general is divided into 3 parts. The first one is prepared speech, where the members of the club will give the prepared speech for 5 to 7 minutes based on their Toastmasters pathway. The second one is table topic session. It is the most exciting and challenging part of any Toastmasters meeting. It is to test your impromptu skills and ability to think on your feet. And the third session is feedback or evaluation session. And this is a very important session because the speakers, both prepared speakers as well as table topic speakers, need some kind of feedback so that they can improve their upcoming speeches. And also it acts as an encouragement. So with that, I could like to call the timer to give us the timer report. Okay, sorry. Before that, we have a speech evaluators. For the first speech by Lakshmi Narayana, we have Nagendra Balaji, who will be connecting with us online and he will be giving us his feedback and evaluation. Over to you, Nagendra. You're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Bilal. It's very interesting to see that Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana has given his keynote speech by taking up this project. In any longer speech involving the audience from the beginning till end is a challenging task. We may have to combine so many strategies to achieve this objective. I could see that our Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana has combined so many strategies like asking questions, sharing some anecdotes, and then bringing some interesting definitions involving the audience. All these types of strategies, he was able to execute it very well in this 22 minutes long speech. The subject taken by him is also very, very relevant, corruption. And the way in which he connected that corruption with the tips and asking a question to us on the very much relevant point of giving tips in hotel, that itself brought the attention of the audience into his speech immediately. And then the organization of the speech with those questions, what, why, who, how, all these type of questions made us to get deeply immersed into his subject. What is corruption? Who is corruption? How is corruption? Who are all involved in corruptions? Very well organized the speech. I enjoyed the speech from beginning to end. I could also see the audience also get immersed into the speech from beginning to end. That way, he successfully completed this project. Coming to recommendations, I could see that he is having his smiling face and white stretched hands and beautifully delivered his speech. But at the same time, I could see that he could have emoted even more effectively because the subject of corruption is such a subject. He can show a lot of anger. How we can resolve these issues? How far we can contribute to remove this corruption from the society? Lot of anger, lot of body language, lot of places are there for him to emote more effectively. Anyhow, in his next speech, he must be able to do that. Otherwise, I enjoyed the speech, very much relevant. All the best. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Nagendra Balaji, for your evaluation for Lakshmi Narayanan. I hope that will be useful for Lakshmi as well as for the other audience, observing from other people's speeches and evaluation. With that, we can move on to the next evaluator, Toastmaster Nanda, who will be evaluating Nagendra's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. To be a leader of a group, you don't have to be the smartest person in the group. You don't have to be the brightest person in the group. You don't have to be the intelligent person in the group. All you need to be is the person who has a clear vision and able to convince that vision to the group and take the group towards the vision. Toastmaster Nagendra's life today, which he just said in a speech, is a good example of that. He was not the brightest person in the classroom, but still he was the leader of the classroom. He was not the brightest person in the college, still he was secretary of the student association. And he is also a budding Toastmaster, but still he is the president of this club. So beautifully narrated life story, inspiring everyone, and it shows about what true leadership is all about and what a true leader actually needs. I like three things very much in his speech. First is the way of communicating thoughts through stories. He did not just come and stand here saying that I did that, I did this. No. He just narrated some beautiful stories from his school days, from his college days, and also from his Toastmaster days. So as human beings, we tend to connect easily with stories and we can easily know, okay, oh, this is the background behind the story and this is the moral he's trying to convey. So well done, Toastmaster. The second thing I like very much about his speech is the subtle humor he sprayed all along the story. Humor is the one powerful thing that it will actually wake up. If you fall dosing up, good humor will bring you back to the situation and help you to connect very much. So that's well done. The third thing I like about is the way he started with a powerful quote and he ended with a powerful message. So when there's a powerful starting and powerful ending is there, the audience are connected with the story and they have something to take when they leave this room. So that is also well done. But I would like to give him a very important improvement point which you need to probably try to inculcate. Some of the sentences he spoke is not grammatically correct. So maybe he should work on his grammatical pronunciation. Especially the tenses are mixed up. So we sat sitting, so we came coming. So these sentences, even they convey the meaning, but when the audience listens to it, he feels that, okay, this is a little bit like Tanglish, a mix of Tamil and English. So maybe you should work on that a little bit more. So one thing which I did, which helped me, is to listen to a lot of BBC news channel. So BBC is a channel which very much focused on diction and pronunciation and grammar of sentences. Maybe that is what helped me. So probably it would help you also. You can try watching a lot of BBC news channels. With this, I will just summarize. It was a beautifully inspiring story with a lot of subtle stories from this life incident, with good humor and a lot of useful quotes for us to take. One area to improve is the way he could construct the sentences with proper grammar and tenses. I'm sure with this input, next speech will be the great one. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nanda, for your evaluation. Next, I will be calling a timer for today's session to give us timings report. But before that, I would like to say some points about timers report. Like when you get a timers report, each Toastmasters, whether it's a prepared speech or table topic, comes up with a time limit. And for example, in today's Lakshmi Narayan speech was 18 to 22 minutes, and Ravindra's was 7 minutes, and again for table topic it's 2 minutes. When you keep up your time, it is always useful in your real life scenarios where you are about to explain your ideas to your seniors, like you have a time limit of 5 minutes, whether you are able to convey that message within 5 minutes. So today, Madhu is going to help us with the timings report. Over to you, Madhu.
Everyone knows that when we go on the stage, everyone will forget the timing and then the lights. We have to rewind every moment. So we have to, cut short with our timelines and everything. So I would like to quickly go ahead with our timing report. Toastmaster Paul Kelvin has took 1 minute and 30 seconds. Toastmaster Naveen, as a presiding officer, took 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Toastmaster Palniswamy took 9 minutes overall. Toastmaster Bilal took 1 minute and like almost 2 minutes actually it is. And Nagendra Bharti took 36 seconds and 7th Karthik took 1 minute and 29 seconds. Overall then on the table topic session, Toastmaster Karthik Krishna took 1 minute and 25 seconds. Toastmaster Abhirami took 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Guest Praveen took 1 minute and 42 seconds. Toastmaster Milton took 2 minutes and 18 seconds. So going to the prepared speakers, Mr. Lakshmi Narayana, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana took 18 minutes and 47 seconds. Toastmaster Naveen took 7 minutes and 28 seconds overall. For the prepared speech evaluator, Mr. Nagendra Bharti took 3 minutes and 17 seconds. And Toastmaster Nanda took 2 minutes and 42 seconds overall. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for your timers report. With that, I would like to call Abhilash, who will be acting as a counter as well as grammarian for today's meeting. So, Abhilash,
thank you so much. So, fair warning, please don't judge the book by its size. These are empty sheets. So, in the interest of time, I'll be a little short and crisp. As far as the R counter report goes, Toastmaster Paul Calvin, SAA, had 1 pause. Toastmaster Naveen Raj is the presiding officer, 3+ so's and ands, and he loved to use the word the frequently. Toastmaster Palichami as the Toastmaster of the day, he had 3+ so's and buts, and he loved using then every now and then. And now moving to prepared speakers, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana, 3+ buts, so's and outs. And again, today, the seems to be a favorite word for everyone, using the very frequently. Toastmaster Naveen Raj, 3+ ands, 3+ so's, and the word some was used by him very frequently. Now, moving on to table topics, Toastmaster Karthik as the DT Master, 3+ ands were used. Toastmaster Karthik Krishna used 1 and 3+ so's. Guest Praveen, 3+ so's. Toastmaster Abhirami, 2 ums. And Toastmaster Milton, 3+ ounce. And for evaluation, Toastmaster Nagendra Bharti had 2 ands. Toastmaster Nanda was flawless. Congratulations. Now, let me quickly summarize my grammarian report. As far as the word of the day usage goes, we had Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana, Toastmaster Abhirami, and Toastmaster Nagendra Bharti using it. A big round of applause to them for using the word. Good usages. Toastmaster Paul Calvin, warm smiles and claps. That was a nice phrase. Toastmaster Palichami, objective based, and he frequently used refrains in his PMOD address. Moving on to prepared speakers, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana, disparity, and then individual perception was a nice phrase that he used. Toastmaster Naveen Raj, I like the way he gave an acronym for, an abbreviation for the word test, torture for educated students. That was a nice eye-catchy abbreviation. Moving on to table topics, Toastmaster Karthik Krishna, being tasked with, that was a nice quick phrase. Guest Praveen, solo trip and breathtaking were a couple of nice words I observed. And Toastmaster Abhirami, thriving, code release, and frequently use the word refrain along with the word of the day. That was really good to observe. And then Toastmaster Milton, empower the youth was a nice phrase that he used. Moving on to evaluations, Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati, challenging case. That was a nice phrase. And Toastmaster Nanda used refrain as opening to greater. The most important part now comes. A few tips that I have. The first thing is, do not use abbreviations when you come here and talk. Words like don't, didn't, or hasn't, all these are for return form. When you come here, it has to be did not, do not, has not done. So that's one very important thing. The second thing is, whenever you come here and speak, always think and then speak. Our mind races faster than our mouths, definitely. But ensure that you complete your first sentence. Today, I had many instances of people starting their sentence, then pausing and then changing it to something else. Like, I need to compare this. Don't do that. Complete a sentence, then move on to the next sentence. That always gives a good completion effect. So these were the 2 recommendations that I had for today. Over to you, Chintan.
Thank you so much, Abhilash, for your R-counter report and grammarian report. With that, I will share my observation on various parameters for today's meeting. The first one is timing. So we started our meeting 10 minutes late, due to which we have to move all other segments like prepared speech will be 10 minutes late and table topics as well as evaluation. So we have to keep in mind, I can share some examples. A few days back, I used to visit other Toastmasters club just to go as a guest and observe how their meeting works. There was one Toastmasters club where it was strange, like their meeting starting at 6 p.m. They used to close the door 5 minutes before the meeting starts. So whenever they even had a disclaimer in their meeting invite saying that if you are 5 minutes late, we are not going to allow into the meeting. This helps the speakers and the Toastmaster of the day when they are delivering the speech, there will be no disturbance. So we need to keep in mind that we follow the timings very strictly, because in Toastmasters is a place where leaders are made, and we of course leaders have to keep up their timings. The second one is role players, and today Abhilash, Toastmaster Abhilash has to dual roles like R-counter as well as grammarian. Going forward, we have to come up with a backup report where when someone is going out of, due to some emergency, they are not joining the meeting, we can have a backup so they can take up the role. The third one is guest introduction. At the start of the meeting, almost all guests got a chance to introduce themselves to the club members. When you're introducing to the club, I think the person who is asking the guest to introduce can ask some questions like how you get to know about our club or why you want to join our club, so that it will be informative for others as well as club members. Then speakers. In Toastmasters, we do not talk about sex, religion, and politics, and there are some ground rules. Almost all table topic speakers as well as prepared speakers had maintained those rules, and they gave the prepared speech by satisfying those rules. Then we had a tag team. We have very good timing reports as well as grammarian reports, and he also gave some suggestions. And when it comes to table topics, we got a very good table topics today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So related to voting, I would you like to clarify. So best speaker, how to vote among Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana and Toastmaster Naveen Royce. Best evaluator, the two evaluators, Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati and Toastmaster Nanda. And best tag player, it is timer, hop counter, and grammarian. Timer is Toastmaster Madhu, hop counter and grammarian played by Toastmaster Abhilash. The role player, the three role players. One is Toastmaster of the day, Palanichami, which is myself. Next is general evaluator and table topic master, Toastmaster Karthik. So, TT speaker, qualified TT speaker. Can timer give the names, please?
Qualifying table topic speakers are Toastmaster Karthik Krishna, guest Praveen, Toastmaster Abhirami, and Toastmaster Milton.
Okay. The next session is Moments of Truth. To conduct this session, we have the distinguished Toastmaster Neena Jan ma'am. She is one of the founding member of this club, and she is District 120 parliamentarian. I request distinguished Toastmaster Neena ma'am to take over the stage to conduct the Moments of Truth session.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So has everyone finished the voting? Do you need a pen or something?
Yeah.
You need a pen. Cut. Yeah. Pen. All right, is everyone ready? Please put your stuff onto your chair and everyone please stand up. We can use this pillar as a center thing. I want everyone to form a circle around this. So one long line. This is form a circle. So everyone is in one line. Yeah. So we have this big circle. Okay, so I'm going to ask you all to count from 1, 2, 3. So when it comes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, number 6 has to clap, right? It goes around like that. You have a 16 or a 26 or whatever, that person also has to clap. Yeah? Sorry. Now only somebody else can count.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11,
14.
And 6 and multiples of 6. Sorry. Multiples of 6.
Restart again.
Restart again.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. That was 10, 9, 10, 11, 13,
14.
15.
16, 17, 18,
Hello?
19, 22, 23, 24, 35.
All right. Okay. Can all the ones get together, please? Say number 1 and 1. All right. Let's go back to 6s, right? Not just 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1,
6.
1,
2, 3,
4, 5, 6.
1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 1.
All right, all the ones together, all the twos together. Find a chair, a set of chairs, and sit down in groups. As for 4, 5, all the ones.
4. All 4.
Find a chair, 5 chairs, and just sit down in whichever groups you are. If you want to gather your belongings, that's also good. What's your number? 1. Yeah. So can everyone hear me? Whatever. So all those online, quickly start a WhatsApp group between yourselves. I think that's the only way to do this, right? And Abhilash, we have plain paper, right?
Yes.
All right. So plain sheets. Just give us the plain sheets, Jeff. All right. Just keep that here for a moment. All right. Now, what happens when you order a packet from Amazon? It arrives home. And suddenly something that you ordered has arrived. What's your feeling when you see that box or that parcel? Excitement.
Open it immediately.
Want to open it immediately? Exactly. What happens when you see a Google review for a restaurant and all of you say, okay, let's go celebrate something, and you'll go to that restaurant? Same feeling of anticipation? And then you have to decide whether you like the restaurant or not. Correct? So when you open that parcel, when you actually go to that restaurant and start eating over there, that is what we call the moment of truth. Has it met your expectations? Has it exceeded your expectations? Has it not quite here and there? So in Toastmasters, what happens is that every single meeting we have the general evaluator. The purpose of the general evaluator is what we call quality control. So that person checks, how did the meeting go? Could we have done better? What are the areas we could have done better? Where can we improve? How do we improve? So that's what we're looking at. So every meeting, general evaluator, every meeting, how do we improve? But as a club, how do we take a long-term vision of how we are doing and how can we improve? So that's what we have this Moments of Truth exercise. We discuss 6 different aspects of club membership. That is the first impressions. What are your first impressions when you walk in as a guest to a Toastmasters meeting? How did you feel? Was it like opening up that Amazon box? Was it like tasting that biryani and saying, yuck? What was it like? So we want your idea of what it was like. In terms of membership orientation, those who have joined, however, how do you feel in terms of how you're being taught about what is Toastmasters? Do you understand the process? Do you understand how do we get on in Toastmasters? How does the whole Toastmasters business work? That's the member orientation. Third is fellowship, variety, communication. What do we have during a meeting? Is it the same old boring thing every week? Prepared speeches, table topics, evaluations. Oh my God, I don't want to go for another Toastmaster. Is that the feeling you get? Or you're like, oh my God, table topics, what fun we're going to have today because there's something different. Or we're going to have something, I've never heard of this moments of truth. What's going to happen? Let's go attend the meeting. Is there a variety in the meetings? What happens during all of these meetings? As someone who's been here for some time, what are your impressions of that? Program planning and meeting organization. Even as a guest for the first time, what are your impressions about how well the meeting was organized? How well is it running? Can it improve? What do you think can be done? That's what we're looking at over there. Membership strength. We have members. How many are turning up for meetings? How many are turning up online? How many are not attending? What's happening? Why are they not doing it? So how do we understand those issues? That's our fifth thing. And third is in terms of achievement recognition. If somebody has achieved, are we recognizing it? Are we having public recognition with the club, with our WhatsApp groups? Do people feel proud of having done their pathways or any level of education? And do we feel, oh, wow, this is what happened. And I feel proud of doing this because my club is recognizing me for that. So every week we have the best speaker ribbon. We have all of those things. What are the other things we're looking forward to? So these are the 6 areas we're talking about. So as I said, every meeting, general evaluator, micro vision of what is Toastmasters about. Moments of truth, the macro vision, the long-term vision. We say Toastmasters, Chennai Toastmasters is the lighthouse club. We're the founders of Toastmasters in Chennai and Tamil Nadu. We are the best. Does anybody else believe it? We don't know. Are we maintaining our standards? We don't know. So let's analyze all those things and see how we can get to each of these. So what I will do is I will give out these different things, which is the group which has a maximum number of only guests. That one? 3 guests. Okay. Yeah. There are 4 guests. Okay, we'll give it to over here. The other one is membership orientation, someone who's been a member for enough time to attend an orientation meeting or at least 3 months to 6 months as Toastmasters, any of the groups there. Okay, yes, we all can have it. And then of course, fellowship, variety, communication, some of the longer term members. Okay. And of course, membership strength, achievement recognition to the other groups. So what I want you all to do is go through these handout for each of these sections. Just kind of discuss it within your group for about 5 to 10 minutes. If you have any suggestions where you feel we can improve, there'll be, Naveen, just plain sheets of paper, please. So everyone has plain sheets of paper. Yeah. Appoint a leader for your group, and that leader will be the spokesperson. You can have discussions within yourself. After it's over, that spokesperson will come and tell us what you thought about each of these issues. All right? Everything clear? Feel free to discuss whatever you felt or thought. Sit around here, around circles. Okay, which is yours? Okay.
Group number 1 done it. No. First impression is difficult. Let them say fellowship, no? Fellowship, variety, communication. Fellowship, variety. What is the difference? Two we are doing.
Yeah, yes, you will be come and explain.
Yeah. You will take care of program plan. Number is 6. Who are doing fellowship? Yeah. Fellowship. Number 3. Then membership strength. Membership orientation.
Yeah, actually, this is one session.
Orientation I'm a way topic. First impression. Yeah. Who are doing program planning? Program planning, right? And your number was 6, right? Fellowship ranks. Okay. No, I will change it. Take care of the questions. Like explain. Your number 2. Expecting is maybe you can explain
All right, is everyone back? Yeah. All right, so everyone, your attention please. From each group, shall I go and talk like my teacher used to? Stop talking, everybody. So from each group, who's speaking from this group? Gibson, right? GIBSON or FT? FT, no? I know a set of this is the first